And I can hop up on a tree with 4 apples up on top of me. Hop up high, hop up high. Hop up high, on a tree. Hey everybody, happy Monday. Welcome back to the vlog and thank you for tuning in. I want to start this episode by saying thank you for all the likes, shares, comments on the Pokemon video that I put up last week. It has been shared so many times and by far the fastest growing sharing video that I've ever put up, and that's all thanks to all of you. I hope you got some ideas out of that, ways that you can engage your kids, and thanks again. It was a lot of fun to make. Today I want to talk about engagement during reading. And I think that that's one thing that we all feel like we do a really good job of. I know I always felt like I did a really good job of, but I've tried to amp it up a little bit. And I've tried to amp it up by thinking of myself more as a storyteller than just a reader. And that's what I kind of get my kids to do as well too. We all in our classrooms are talking about expression and voice and the way we tell stories and the way we read. But I think sometimes we forget to do that when we read. And I know I'm guilty. I'll sit down to read a story and I'll finish it and I'll think to myself, man, I didn't put any kind of expression in that or tone in that, and I just kind of read a book. And this week I've been really focusing on ways to read with my kids and trying to get them to understand, because a lot of them are at that stage in kindergarten where they're saying, I can't read, I can't read, I can't read, and I'm trying to tell them, you don't have to read, just tell the story, just tell a story. So what I did is I set up my camera to record a couple stories that I told. I'm going to show you one of those clips here, but it's been a lot of fun trying to get them to understand that we can just tell stories. I also recorded my kids doing some of that around the classroom because they've been getting really good at telling stories to each other. The big thing we're looking at are picture books right now and how picture books don't have words to read. So we have to tell the story. And one thing that I love to do this with is finding stories that aren't a book. Like finding just a story to tell, like out of a magazine or out of a catalog or something, or just some story that you know. Make up a story. And there's one that we love to use called Nature's Secret. And I gotta find out who it's from. Just a second. All right, I found it. So this is what we always do. We do this every year. This is called Nature's Secrets. It's from Instructor. It's an old magazine, your catalog. Remember that? Those of you who remember. Sorry, camera kind of fell there. It's from Instructor. It's a reproducible that permission was granted to duplicate. I promise it says it right there. But it's just a paper story. And it talks about how there's a star inside the middle of every apple. Well, I don't tell the kids that at first. This story kind of leads them through mystery of trying to find that. And I used to just read this off the paper. I'd sit with the paper in my lap and we'd read it and then we'd cut it open and see. And I thought, why not try to make that more fun, like more engaging and tell a story, get the kids up and moving. So I did that this year and they absolutely loved it. Like their eyes, you'll see in the video, did not leave me. They were on me the whole time and I didn't have a book or picture to show them. It was just my expression and my tone and the way I wanted to tell the story, and I got up and moved around and they were so engaged. So I guess what I'm trying to say is find a way in your room to challenge yourself to become a storyteller. Well, maybe you already do. Maybe you're better than I am at it. I mean, there's probably a lot of people that are better than I am at it. But watch this clip real quick. This is what I do with the story. Today, I'm not going to read a book to you. I know during story time we usually read a book. I'll stand up here, we'll sit in our chair. I don't like to read. I love to read, but I don't like to read books every day because I love to tell stories. And there's a difference. Yesterday, Haley picked out a book from the library that had what?
No picture.
No
words.
No words. Okay? You can't read a book with no words, but you can tell the story from a book with no words, right?
I was trying to.
Now, I have a story, and it's over there in a folder somewhere, but I'm not going to get out because my story isn't a book. It's just a piece of paper.
Huh?
And it's just words. No pictures at all. That's kind of boring, huh?
So what are we going to
Okay?
do?
So to do that, we have to make the story come to life. So I want you to gather around, face me. Gather this way. Face me, okay? Ready? And this is a story about a little boy named Johnny.
Johnny.
Okay, so picture this in here. There's a little boy, maybe about your age, 5, 6 years old. Little boy named Johnny. And Johnny is bored. He's at home and he has nothing to do.
No, that's cute.
Bored. That's no fun, is it?
To the park.
Well, he could, but he can't go to the park by himself because he's little. He doesn't live by a park. So he goes up to his grandma, because grandma's watching him today, and he says, Grandma, I'm bored. I need something to do. And grandma says, I have something for you to do. I'm going to send you on a mission, a challenge, Johnny. You have a challenge to go outside, and in the yard somewhere, I want you to find, or maybe in our neighborhood, find a red house with no windows, no doors on it, but inside that house you will find a star. And Johnny thought to himself, he started crying. He said, first of all, Grandma, there's no red houses in our neighborhood. And second of all, if there's no windows and no doors, how am I going to find a star inside that house? And his teacher said, no, Grandma's not crazy. Here's what I need you to do. Walk back through your neighborhood. Find a spot to sit, and the wind will tell you the answer. Walking through a neighborhood, look around. Do you see a red house with no windows, no doors, no stars? So Johnny went back to his house. And in his house, in his yard, there was a giant shade tree. And Johnny sat down underneath that shade tree to cool off. So everybody sit down, sit down, sit down. He sat down under the tree. I need to find, what does he need to find?
A red house.
Everybody help me. A little red house, no windows, no doors, and a star inside. And the teacher said the wind will give you the answer, Johnny. So we make wind.
You got an idea on his head.
An apple fell on his head. An apple fell out of the tree, that big tree, right?
Oh my God, how did you
It fell on my head, the wind blew it down. This apple is red. There's no windows.
No door.
There's no doors on an apple. But is there a star inside? So he ran inside. He said, Grandma, I think I know what the answer is. I ran into my teacher. My teacher said, go home, Johnny. Sit underneath the tree. Cool off, and the wind will tell you the answer. And he said, Grandma, as soon as I sit down, an apple, ow, fell on my head. So Grandma cut it open. She sat down on the counter, and she cut right through the middle of the apple. Because there's no windows or no doors, right?
Yeah.
So she cut through the middle, and inside she peeked. Kind of a star shape. There's the star. Isn't that cool? So this is a story that we call. All right, so as you can see there, they were so engaged in that story, and it's such a fun lesson to do too, to show that apple story and the star inside. They absolutely loved it. The other thing that I've tried to do this year is to get out of my chair when I'm reading a story, and I think we're all guilty of this as well. I used to just sit. I have a chair that I sat on or a stool that I would sit on, and that's where I'd read. They all gathered around and I read, but it was so hard to really get into the story and moving around and motivated. So I told myself I was not going to sit this year. Unless it's a longer book. Like if we're later in the year I start a chapter book and we read a chapter a day or a week or something like that, I don't sit very often. I like to get up and move around. So I've been doing that too. And here's me reading a story. 10 apples up on top by Dr. Seuss. 1 apple up on top. Show me one. That's pretty easy, right?
Yeah.
You think you could, everybody stand up. Pretend you have an apple on your head. Pretend. Hold very still. Don't let it drop. 2 apples up on top. Stack 2. 1, 2. Look, I can do it too. You have 2 and I have 2. 1, 2. You can do 3, but I can do more. You have 3, but I have 4. Look at his head. 1, 2, 3, 4. Stack another one. 1, 2, 3, 4 apples. See, now I can hop with 4 apples up on top. Hop with your apples. Don't let them drop. Don't let them drop. Don't let them drop. Drop. And I can hop up on a tree with 4 apples up on top of me. Hop up high. Hop up high. Hop up high. On a tree with 4 apples on top of me. Let's see what's next. Look here, you 2. See here, you 2. I can get, let's look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on top. Can you try to stack 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go, ready? 8, and we can skate. Look, now we can skate. Up with 8. Skate around the carpet. Skate. Don't let your apples drop. Don't let your apples drop. Skate. Freeze. Skate back to your letter. Here we go. But I can do 9 and hop and drink. Yes, I can do this, I think. So you gotta hop on 1 foot. Try to drink some milk. Don't let your apples drop. And now, all our fun is going to stop. All apples are going to drop. You don't want to see what happens here.
Yeah,
No, you don't.
Yeah,
We'll finish that book later. You don't want to see what happens there. You do? You ready? Try it out this week. Remove your seat. No more sitting. I challenge you to do that. Take that challenge. No more sitting while you read a story. Read a story to your kids without sitting down. Get up, get your body into it, move around, act it out, whatever you can do. Get the kids involved too. Let them tell the story. Or find somebody like this where you can include props. And I guarantee you, every single one of your students' eyes will be on you the whole time, having fun, engaged in the story because they see that you are having fun. Here's what it looks like now, because they see me getting engaged in stories. Look at these pictures and these videos of them reading today during our quiet reading time. They were reading to each other for the first time. We just started introducing Reader's Workshop last week. I'm using the Reader's Workshop model from my friend Kim Adsit. You can find it on her Teachers Pay Teacher stores. And one of the big things it uses are these anchor charts that you see hanging up here. And we are on elbow partners right now. So you'll see today in the videos that I took and pictures I took, they're all working with an elbow partner during our quiet reading time, if they choose to. It was kind of one of those things where I have made what I used to call my rest time more of a choice time, where they can either, some of them just need to rest. You know, we have those kids who still are used to napping, so I have some who just need a time to relax. And so I give them the option to get their rest mat out, or they can get their mat out and their book bin, or they just get their book bin out and they go read with a friend, or they read on their own. And you can see they're all into books, they're engaged in books, they're telling stories, they were having fun, they were reading with expression too, which was really cool to see. And again, just make books engaging. If they see you're excited about books, they'll be excited about books. So I guess that's 2 episodes in a row where we talked about engagement, but seems to be working in my room. Try it in yours.